This is the way all removable tops, soft tops come off. So it doesn't really matter if it's a TR4 or Metropolitan. There are different kind of cars where the fact the top is permanently fastened. That's a slightly different process. So before you actually do any of the snaps or anything on a convertible top, you have to undo the front buckles.
Juan, do you want to undo the one? Oh, he's got it.
So once the buckles are off, just make sure that the top is loose. And then disconnect the snaps. One more up here. All right. So then, the key on any top is you fold the top mechanism without putting the top down. So raise it just far enough, and then you fold the top mechanism. The entire time you're folding the top mechanism, you have to make sure that the top material does not get bound in between the metal. All right. Okay. So the next key is to make sure that when you put it down, the top doesn't rip or catch on the body. So in this case, we need to move it so it's inside of the rail, or when you put it down, it will rip at the pivot point. And then the last critical thing, whether it's a plastic window or glass windows, these are the most fragile because these plastic windows will, if they get folded, they will pinch and crease, and then they don't stretch again, so that to be very visible. Also, especially on plastic windows, they scratch very easily. So what we want to do now is we want to move the top material back so that when it comes down, it rubs on nothing. So allow the top to collapse. All right, and then the top goes down. All right, that's about it. So most tops, there's some cars where the tops go below the drip rail. However, most convertibles, the tops don't go below the drip rail. So lots of times you'll see people coming in here and trying to push down. That is not, if it doesn't go down easily, you don't do that. It's not designed to go down there. On a Metropolitan, when the top cover, or other cars, the top cover goes on, you'll notice that it actually covers part of the top frame. Also, if you look at a lot of cars, like it'd be on Dick Sunbeam Talbot or a Riley or a Rolls-Royce Corniche, the top actually sits up from the boot well almost a foot. So very few cars where the top actually goes below the level of the drip rail. So erecting the top is the same in reverse. You pull it up, fold the top frame, and the top frame. All right. Then before you put it down and snap it, you have to, and operate the buckles, you need to put all the snaps back in place. Now, convertible top materials, especially the vinyls, will change their flexibility depending on the condition, the type of material. Can you hold this a second? On the type of material, vinyl obviously changes during the temperature. It'll be soft in the summer, rigid in the winter, low temperatures. So once it's all snapped in place, make sure the top goes down and there's no bindings. Snap is good. When we come to do the buckles, lots of them have aligning pins and stuff, so don't try to put the buckles on unless the lining pins are aligned. Some of them have different type of guide mechanisms. If you try to snap the buckles without the top aligned on the pins or aligning mechanism, you just break the buckles. None of the buckles are made to actually take a lot of force. The worst car that has a top that's really fragile is the E-type, because there's 3 sets of buckles across the front. There's one on either side, which is pretty strong. There's also one in the center of the windshield. So if you buckle the center windshield buckle too hard on E-type, it actually bends the entire front windscreen, and the glass comes out of the metal as the top. bends, so you
Yeah,
never want
varies.
to you don't want to overstretch the buckles on an E-type. If you notice on the E-type, there's also this tiny little chromed bar rod that goes from the center of the dash up to the center of the windshield top, and that's so if people do overstress it, it hopefully doesn't break the windshield or damage the
Just like a
frame.
bee.
All right, so there you go. So the TR6 that's in there, it actually buckles and unbuckles and folds similarly to this as do most cars.